kids. They're bundles of energy, but they need the right snacks to keep them going. That's why I give my kids Fruity Bars. They're full
What's going on, beautiful people? Hope you all are having a fantastic day today, despite the conditions that we are in. It's not the best of news, but it's definitely good news. This is a video that I was sitting on because I don't think anybody really gives a crap about this at this point. Or maybe you do, maybe you don't. I don't know, because it hasn't been talked about in a while. Chairman Ajit Pai.
The best heat in the fucking game.
And yes, that is not a slip up. Is to leave the FCC next year. Well, I know maybe by the time you see this video, it'll probably be next year. Some of you may know him as Ajit Pai. Maybe you're one of the more mature people in the audience, I guess. Some of you may know him as that tart that dressed up in a Santa costume, and yeah.
Oh, Lord. Isn't this what you want your elected officials? He's not elected, he's appointed to look like on the holidays. If I didn't think Ajit Pai was an ass before, I really think he's an ass now.
But many people know him as that Reese's Cup mug drinking piece of garbage that tried to kill net neutrality, or kind of succeeded, pretty much. And while I'm at it too, just to be completely thorough, let's go ahead and give you a reminder or a refresher. I'm messing up my R words. So what is net neutrality? It's the principle that the internet service provider should enable access to all content and applications regardless of the source and without favoring or blocking particular products or web services. Basically, this just means to treat all web traffic equally. No fast lane, no slow lane, no luxury, you know, all that other bullshit that gets added to legislation. It's like, oh, well, if you got the money, then we've got a table for you right over here, sir. And you know how it goes. If you're poor, then get the fuck out of here, you broke piece of shit. You know, it really sucked that this was even a thing, considering the fact that we already have ISP problems. Like, take for instance, you move to a particular area. Chances are, at most, if you are lucky, you will have 3 service providers to pick from. On average, it's usually 1 or 2 at this point, or at least where I'm at. You'll either get AT&T or you'll get Comcast. Both kind of garbage in their own right. AT&T, if you pay up for faster speeds, you can get some pretty good speeds. Not as good as Comcast, but it doesn't have the cap. Comcast has the garbage ass cap. How you think that should be an actual thing is actually offensive to me. But then again, when you've been voted most hated company in America, it's not really a surprise that you would do some bullshit like that. But yes, this massive douche is leaving. And of course, his departure is really not surprising at all. You notice it coincides with the fact that Trump got voted out and Trump picked him in the first place. So instead of being fired for being a garbage person, he's gonna leave on its own. And yes, you heard it right, its own. On a side note too, I left out Verizon. How could I be silly and leave out Verizon? The place that previously employed Ajit Pai. How did I leave that out? Now, why would somebody who used to work at Verizon pass something that Verizon could benefit from? Anyways, fuck that guy. He would try to do things to kind of laugh away, and I guess you could say like that's his magic wand to get rid of criticism. He would do all this other bullshit, and the Santa one probably being the most infamous. I wanted to say famous, but fuck that guy. The most infamous thing. I think there was a dinner once where there was a video. He decided to show a video of him being criticized for being a Verizon crony, which he's a crony, it is what it is. Follow the money, people. When somebody does something in particular and you can't figure out why they're doing it, look into what they've done in the past. Look into what they can possibly gain from it. Out of all the things that he could go after and do, why would you focus on this for basically no particular reason?
Thank you for the question, Senator. I think one of the concerns that we have raised is that these regulations might be dampening infrastructure investment.
They might be, but there's no evidence of it.
Well, there has been evidence raised, and that's part of the reason why we are testing this proposition in the context of the notice of proposed rulemaking. Some had suggested the FCC should simply issue a declaratory ruling saying that the facts in the law are so, and that's the way it's going to be. But we wanted to test this proposition in an open and public process.
Lying bitch.
And I'm not saying net neutrality being ended is like a doomsday scenario, but there's people who are going to benefit from it. There's people that are not going to see any particular difference from it. And there's people that are going to be able to benefit from it, which, come on. And if they are able to benefit from it, there's a lot of money in that benefit. Verizon, Comcast, AT&T, I mean, it is what it is. And after Ajit Pai leaves, he's probably going to be looking for employment, regardless of the fact that he probably has a good amount of money from his past endeavors. Stupid ass Santa outfit.
The best heathen.
You know, from the endless amount of hate comments that Ajit Pai has gotten, most of that deserved, by the way, he ended up showing off during a tour. I think it was a tour at the FCC, if I'm not mistaken. He called himself showing off the Ron Swanson Pyramid of Greatness. If you don't know Ron Swanson, dude's a boss. He's cool as hell. He's from the show Parks and Recreations. If you haven't seen that show, no plug here, feel free to check it out. I'm not getting any kickback from this recommendation, but it's a good ass show. But he showed this Ron Swanson Pyramid of Greatness. And turns out, Ron Swanson is not a fan of Ajit Pai, as nobody should be. He's a garbage person. Seems Ajit Pai got this message. Dear Ajit Pai, I noticed your Pyramid of Greatness and I thought it felt strange in your office, given your stance. So I went to see Ron Swanson to ask if he'd care to weigh in, and he dictated the below to me. And then Ron Swanson says, I'm flattered that my Pyramid of Greatness has inspired you. I will remind you that the top category is honor. Sadly, based off of your duplicitous handling of the net neutrality issue and the way you are willfully ignoring the public you claim to serve, I feel you may need that term defined, which means, of course, that you don't have it. Garbage! Now, that's not to say that there won't be another corrupt piece of garbage. I mean, let's be real here. If you've been paying attention to American politics since God knows how long, you get rid of one corrupt crony, you get another corrupt crony half the time. It's the ebb and flow. Whether it's Democrat or Republican, you're gonna get corrupt cronies. That's what time it is. And to clarify, right now I can tell you pretty much all of the corrupt cronies of past and present in Trump's administration, including him. And I can already tell you that Biden's track record isn't that good either, nor the people that you're bringing in. So I can't stress it enough. You get rid of a turd, you flush it, eventually you gotta go to the bathroom again. In the meantime though, Ajit Pai, I am glad you're gone. I am so glad that you are gone, you turd. Ajit Pai is the type of person that would show up at a funeral wearing a Hawaiian shirt eating Lay's chips, aka salty paper chips, which they taste like what I assume is salty, greasy, air-fried notebook paper. That's what he would do, and he would crunch it as loud as possible and think that it's not pissing off anybody. You know, I do look forward to you doing one thing though. This is something that should come to no surprise after you leave office. I do look forward to you lobbying and doing other shitty, garbage, messed up things to make the world a worse place so you can fill your pocket. So good riddance, jerkwad. So what do you guys think? You think it's a big deal with net neutrality? Do you think I'm overreacting? Do you think I'm a little too harsh on this individual? Boy, I wanted to trash him so bad in this last segment, but I'm gonna let you guys comment down below. Tell me what you think of Ajit Pai. Do you like him? Do you lump him? Do you hate him? What do you think? Comments down below. If you like the video, like it. Dislike if you didn't. Feel free to hit that subscribe button. Greatly appreciated, especially in this YouTube hell world where unless you're a big YouTube channel, nobody gives a shit about your complaints or anything. But with that said, love you guys. Thank you for the support. I'll see you in the next video. See ya.
You want it's never, ever, ever, ever gonna stop. Come on, how bad can it possibly be? How bad can I be? I'm just building the economy. How bad can I be? Just look at me petting this puppy. How bad can I be? A portion of proceeds goes to charity. How bad can I be? How bad could I possibly be? Let's see.